camera. Come on, man. She's intelligent, she's beautiful, and specifically for black people, she's beautiful. Put this girl on camera, she's talented.
So it's funny, you know, I started playing basketball at a very young age, and basketball was my life through high school and through college. But for some reason, I'd always loved television, even as a child. Basketball for me was just an opportunity for me to be self-enthused, to be self-righteous, to it be all about Sher'i. What I do now in television, I'm able to put together stories and information and disseminate that to the masses and to be able to serve my community. And even in my walk and what I do now in my career, I'm hoping that I am inspiring other people. I went to Northwestern University for grad school, and I finished that up in 2011, and about a month later I got a job at Towers Productions right here in Chicago. And I was working for Towers for a couple years. I worked on Find Our Missing for TV One for 2 seasons. I worked on Mobsters for the Biography Channel for 1 season as well, and got to a point where to move and relocate my life to the West Coast. Just took a jump and wanted to see if I could get into TV out there. And didn't really hit things off there, but I got a call probably about 8 months into living on the West Coast about a job to work for News One Now on TV One, and took another jump and moved all the way to the East Coast to work at TV One, where I am now. As a producer, it's important. The biggest thing to do as a producer is to tell stories. So for me, storytelling comes first. I've been able to produce 1-hour shows on my own, different packages I've done on my own. I currently produce, or super produce as I like to call it, for TV One, and also a show called The Rock Newman Show, which airs on PBS. So having the opportunity to tell human stories and craft them in a way that is exciting for audiences is my life's passion. It is my life's work. I wouldn't trade it for the world. And now segueing into also an opportunity to be a media personality, to now put a face to what I do, to get out there on carpets and interview different people and have people hear my voice and see my face. I'm really excited about transitioning into that as well. I would say the biggest struggle in being a black woman in television is the assumptions that people place on you, that you're over emotional or that you're angry. And being young and black, and a black woman in this business, for me, I had to, for whatever reason, there were men in positions of power who felt like they were able to take ownership of me in like a fathering sense. And it went beyond mentorship, and so I had to be in a position where I had to kind of take control of my own life and my own career and not give people so much credence and control over what I was doing. There's a lot of opportunity, but there's not a lot of avenues to opportunity for black women. And so that's the thing that I would like to see change. And again, that comes from when we are in positions to excel, to hire, like an Ava DuVernay, and being able to put black women in a position where, okay, I'm a content creator, I have an opportunity, I'm gonna pay it forward and give that opportunity to someone else. That to me is gonna be the biggest avenue for more black women to get into fields where they're not just producing, but they're making decisions, they're network execs. That's the next step that we need to take. And I think that ties right into the content that we see and that we don't see. There are audiences that are still in need and in search of certain content that we cannot give them because we're not in positions to create the content. So it's funny. I've interviewed everyone from Hillary Clinton to Denzel Washington to T.D. Jakes to Lupita Nyong'o, and like thinking about it now and kind of replaying these names in my mind, I'm just so blessed and so honored to have had those opportunities. Interviewing Lupita Nyong'o was an amazing opportunity. I talked to her about her movie Queen of Katwe, which is a great film, and we really spoke about the power of dreaming and what that means for not only young people but for adults as well. The most challenging interview I've ever had to date is actually my most recent interview, and that was with Denzel Washington for Fences, which is a fantastic movie. I encourage everyone to see it. But I will have to say that was the most challenging interview I've ever had in my entire life. Denzel Washington is a very kind person, he's funny, he's witty, but Denzel will challenge you. And Denzel gave me what I had earned. I am 30 years old. I have a long way to go in this business, and he knew it when he met me. He even mentioned how young I was in the interview. And I came in with my questions. I was ready to go. See me, I think I have this great interview style, guys. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go in this interview. I have my questions prepped. He's gonna fall right on my map, my little road map that I made for him. And I sat down and I asked him my first question. And halfway through that first question, he shut me down. And he was like, nope, that's not how it goes. I'm like, okay, how does it go then? And then we had a conversation, but for the first 5 minutes, it almost felt like a tug of war. And it wasn't aggressive, he wasn't being abrasive, but he was showing me that it doesn't always go the way that you want it to go. And you can't take things personal, and you have to think on your feet. You know, it's funny, like, I've had people reach out to me randomly and say, man, like, your stock is rising. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I don't think about it like that. Like, all I've known my whole life is to work hard. And if you work hard and you have faith and you believe God and you allow him to use you in the way that he sees fit, you're going to reap the benefits of that. You're going to move forward. And it doesn't mean I've had, you know, just as many setbacks as the next person, but you have to keep going and you have to trust the gift that he's giving you. So, you know, I love radio. Radio is fun for me, and anytime I can get more exposure, more people can hear my voice, I can reach more people with my message. That's what I want to do, and ultimately I want to segue that into being on camera. And just like we're talking now, being able to do that for different networks and such. Working in urban media for me has been, it's been a very rewarding experience. And it's also really caused me to take a step back and really examine in the urban media space what we're doing and what we still need to do. One of the things that I love about urban media is we are servicing our Black audience, who sometimes gets negated in terms of the content. But one of the things that I would like to see in urban media is not this assumption that this is all that Black people deserve. This is all that Black people want to know. We cannot stereotype our own people. So if we're talking about issues in the news, we shouldn't just talk about Black news. We should talk about global issues, because Black people need to be informed on a universal scope just as much as anyone else. And so my challenge to those in Black media, including myself, is to not shortchange my own people, to give them access to every single thing that I have, to everything that's going on in the world around us. Because even if something doesn't directly affect you, it still affects you. So if we look at what's going on in Europe or China in terms of currency, we look at the stock exchange, it's important to know those things. If there's a tsunami over in Japan, that might affect trade, which then might affect taxes, which then might affect you when you go to Macy's. You don't know. So I think the important thing for us to do in urban media, again, is to understand that Black people deserve our very best. For people that are interested in this field that I'm in, first off, please understand that it is not easy, but it is worth it. Oftentimes people will come to me and they'll say, I'm so inspired by you. I want to get into television. And I'm like, okay, television is a broad, or they'll say I want to get into the entertainment industry. And I'm like, well, that's a very broad thing. So I think the biggest thing for anyone, if they want to get into what I do for a living or even another career field, is to have a sense of focus. Know what you want to do. You may not know exactly how you're going to get there, but have an understanding about what you want to do. That's the biggest thing. And then to start looking to get advice and mentorship from people who are already doing what you say you want to do. My website is Shari-Nycole.com. And so I launched my site. I have a blog on my site that I absolutely love. It gives me an opportunity to talk about everything from entertainment to health to politics to science, anything I feel like talking about. And it's my voice and it's my opinion, and no one can tell me what to do. So for those who are interested in the website, it's really cool. It gives you a sense of control over your work and your content. And ultimately, I want my platform to then be a content platform for other content creators to push out their stories or their information for the masses. People can reach me in a few ways. First, my social media. You can reach me on Twitter and Instagram at Shari, SHARI_NYCOLE. That's on Instagram and Twitter. And on Facebook, Shari Nycole. And you can also reach me on my Gmail, Shari, SHARI, Nycole, NYCOLE, .media@gmail.com.